can you even trust fashion influencers these days? This whole video is going to be a bit of an own goal because technically I'm an influencer, even though I hate calling myself one. But I feel like we've come to a point where the general opinion on influencers has become so divisive. People either love them or hate them. So I want to use my insider knowledge to try and give you a fair view on whether we're actually worth listening to or not. Are we adding any value, or are we just annoying everyone? Let's discuss. Let's start off with the most obvious thing that gets on people's nerves when it comes to influencers: monetization. And this is something we're going to talk a lot about in today's video. These days, it seems that being a fashion influencer is less about the love of clothes and more of a business. And you as the viewer are the customer. It feels like influencers are always trying to sell you something, and if they're not, well, it probably means they're doing their job well. I know this because I've done paid collaborations with plenty of brands, and while many of them are happy for me to do my own thing, some of them can be very controlling and insist that you act like it's not a sponsorship, so that the content comes across as more genuine, which typically converts to more sales. And this can create distrust, like the influencers are trying to hide something from you. Also, some influencers are very lucky and have paid promotions for every single one of their posts, which is great for them, but when they're constantly sponsored by someone, how can you tell what their true feelings are? You start to lose perspective of their baseline, which makes it difficult to know which things they're promoting are actually good or not. If they're not selling you a product, then they're selling you engagement. Because more engagement equals more views, which equals more ad revenue. I mean, I'm doing it right now. I'm hoping this video topic is engaging enough for people to click on, which will mean I get more views, resulting in more money. And that can be annoying, especially when influencers try to farm views with controversial topics or opinions. So it makes you question whether they're being truthful or not about what they're talking about. Trust me, I watch plenty of YouTube and I get just as fed up as everyone else. Now, having said that, I don't think monetization is always a bad thing. I know what you're thinking. Of course, I am going to say that because I'm an influencer myself. But if you find someone promoting something that they genuinely like and they think it offers value to their audience, then it's a win-win. The difficulty is finding those genuine influencers. You might not believe me, but I actually started this channel with absolutely no intention of earning money. I just wanted to review some clothes from Represent that no one else was talking about. I was just truly lucky that it clicked with people, and now I'm able to earn from it. I get a lot of offers from brands, but I'm super picky about who I work with. And to me, it's really obvious when there's an influencer who will just work with anyone versus the ones that are picky. In the fashion space specifically, I know if someone is promoting horrific fast fashion brands like Temu, Shein, or those dodgy Amazon clothes, they're probably not the type of people to take advice from, because those are bottom of the barrel brands. They aren't doing anything new and are wreaking havoc on the planet. Alternatively, if you find someone who's talking with genuine passion about the products they're showing, going into detail about things like materials and construction, that's probably someone you can trust because they have that genuine interest. I don't know, it's a sticky topic. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. The next thing we need to talk about with influencers is that they're always trying to push new trends onto you. Fashion cycles move way too quickly these days, and social media only makes it worse. You can put a lot of time and effort into your look and feel like you're finally at a place where you're comfortable with your wardrobe. And then all of a sudden, your favorite influencer comes online telling you that everything you're wearing is now lame and you need to switch it up for this new thing instead. Being an insider, I can tell you it's all about the algorithm. As a creator, there is a huge pressure to always be on trend and talking about the latest things. While there are a small number of creators who can talk about pretty much anything and get views, for the majority of us, if we don't at least acknowledge trends in some way, then we will get lost in the algorithm and may never recover. Don't get me wrong, I love keeping up and talking about fashion. It's something I'd do even if I wasn't creating content. But it can be a bit annoying to be constantly pushed into new things by the people you're following. Of course, if you are just trying to learn about the latest trends, then influencers are a great source to keep up with all of that. They might be the best source. Legacy media is pretty much dead, and influencers can give you that boots on the ground type of report about what's really happening. However, I think it's always good to watch influencers who talk about incorporating trends in a meaningful way, rather than just buying every trendy new piece that releases. In my opinion, a good influencer should know that classic and timeless pieces should make up the majority of your wardrobe, and then trending pieces can just be the cherry on top to add a bit of fun, variety, or just to try something different. So when I make content about new clothing crazes, I do try to advise people to not get sucked into every single new trend, and instead only focus on the bits that genuinely excite you or add something new. Then just leave the rest, because you probably don't need it. The next thing I hear a lot of complaints about with influencers is just the fakeness of it all. And I'm not just talking about promoting things that they may not use. It's the whole fake persona, fake online only life. Some influencers want to make you believe that they're living a life of pure luxury, constant holidays, shopping sprees, fancy restaurants. And while I'm sure there's a few lucky ones who do genuinely lead that life, the majority of them don't. It's all fake. They've probably been gifted the experience or just made it look like it's something they do all the time. I was actually in Denmark recently and I spotted a fake influencer couple doing their daily outfit post. Which is fine, don't get me wrong, but they had their camera set up on the corner of a really busy street and they were completely blocking the pavement, just so that they could film themselves doing a fake candid walk up and down a beautiful street. And they did multiple takes, so they were there for a while. I do kind of wish I recorded it, but I was just stood there in disbelief at what was going on. But that's just a bit of an insight about what some influencers do to make content, and I'm not gonna lie, it's annoying as hell and really misleading. The only upside is that social media is kind of made for escapism, so it can sometimes be nice to log on and see all these different locations and what life could be like on the other side. Gets you out of that headspace of the daily 9-to-5 grind. And also, a lot of creators use social media to just post the highlights of their life, so you only get to see the good stuff and not the struggle. But I totally understand why people get sick of the constant daily fakeness, and how it can lead to you distrusting influencers. The next point might be a bit niche, but stay with me. I feel like some fashion influencers and fashion content is just turning into gooner bait. I'm not going to name names, and if I show any images over this commentary, it's just for B-roll. It's not targeted at them. But what I mean by this is that there's a decent proportion of fashion influencers out there who are popular because they're so good looking. And rightly so. We all love looking at beautiful things. I know I sound like a bitter old man, but I honestly have nothing against them. But in fashion, it can create the halo effect, where because someone is so beautiful, we automatically believe everything they say. So they could be talking utter nonsense, but because they're attractive, we automatically think they're also stylish. Of course, people can't help the way they look. If someone's really into fashion and also happens to be really good looking, then that's great. But sometimes it does feel like some influencers are leaning into their attractiveness a bit more, because as we've said, engagement equals views and views equals money. So it can make you wonder whether they're actually helping you or not. It definitely touches upon that argument of being fit is the fit. I have mixed feelings on it because I truly believe anyone can be stylish, but some people do have this tendency to just look good in anything, and their looks can contribute to that. I guess what I'm saying is that sometimes the line between what is actually fashion or style advice and what is just pure gooner bait making you click because someone is super good looking is becoming more and more unclear. And it's definitely a contributing factor as to why some people have started to distrust influencers. The final point about fashion influencers, and just influencers in general really, is that it's just one person's opinion. Even if they have like 10 million followers, it doesn't mean that whatever they're saying is automatically true, whether that comes to clothing or any other topic for that matter. Some of the most stylish people, in fact the majority of stylish people, probably have 0 followers. Influencers like me are just lucky enough to be able to talk about them with people who enjoy the same topics. And that's a good point to think about. Followers are going to naturally align with the influencer they're watching. It's how they found them in the first place. But it's definitely good to challenge the people you follow and also challenge yourself sometimes as well. This has felt like a bit of an influencer bashing, but honestly it's not. Being able to follow one person and understand their niche point of view is what social media is all about, really. So yeah, hopefully you don't hate me too much after watching that, but it's good to touch base and think about what influencers actually are and how they affect people, because they are so prevalent these days and we're only going to see more of them. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do let us know down in the comments. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.